It's an ill mind that's still time build and refine. Still getting mine in the nine at nine. Build and refine, build and refine, build and refine. Still getting mine in the nine at nine. Build and refine, still getting mine. Geometrix, 9 at 9. Sean J. 9 at 9. Stylus Chris. 9 at 9. DJ as 1. 9 at 9. 9 at 9. Don't touch the dial, you heard?
Welcome everybody, my name is DJ Geometrix. It's Monday night, 9 p.m. We're back with the 9 at 9 DJ podcast, the only show on the interwebs where we have 9 DJs on a roundtable panel discussing today's DJ topics. This show is brought to you by Beat Refinery DJ School at Bach to Rock. Learn how to mix, scratch, and make music by visiting beatrefinery.com. We have school locations across the nation. We have a great show for all of y'all here tonight. This is episode number 12. We all know that most DJs around the world haven't been able to get back to DJing in real life in front of people due to the pandemic. But hey, life always finds a way. There's a lot of DJs are now staying relevant and keeping themselves in front of many, many eyes and ears by DJing on the live streaming platform called Twitch. So for tonight, we have some of the best DJs that are doing really well on Twitch right now, and we'll talk to them about their experiences with live streaming. But first, let me introduce the rest of the crew, my co-hosts. We got DJ As One.
What up? Welcome back, guys.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sean J.
Hey, yo, Baltimore represent.
And finally, I'm going to pass the mic off to Stylus Chris. Take it away.
What's up? Thank you, Gio. What's up, everybody? We are back with another installment and excited to have these fine gentlemen on the show. Some of these guys I've known for a long time. Some I've just recently met, and others are infamous to the DMV world, and we are certainly excited. We like to run them down in alphabetical order. Starting first, this man resides in Pittsburgh, PA, has been DJing since 2009, recently earning his title of DJ Battle Champion in the 2019 Goldie Awards, and that's presented by A-Track and Fool's Gold Records. Wow. He's a husband, a food lover, tequila drinker, and a cat dad. Let's give it up for ADMC!
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
By the way, fun fact. ADMC is our 6th world champion to be on the show, maybe?
Oh.
Including Buck Rodgers. So we have like 6 world champions on the show.
Well, it's an honor to be here, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk about the new wave.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. And we brought this gentleman all the way from the West Coast via this amazing app that we have. He's a 3-decade DJ, Bay Area legend, DMS DJ editor. If you're a DJ and you don't have at least one edit or remix from this guy in your digital files, I don't know where you've been living. He is definitely a DJ's DJ, and just one of the nicest guys around in the DJ world, a great ambassador for the art form of DJing and for the love of it. Let's give it up for our brother, DJ Audio One.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
We're honored to have you. Busy schedule, guys, that you guys have made yourselves out to be. So we appreciate being able to work around everybody's time schedules, especially when you're a few hours difference even at that point. So
definitely, man. Thank you.
And next up, this gentleman is a fast rising star in the DJ world. He is a podium finisher in the U.S. Red Bull 3 Style Finals, has been featured on Sway in the Mornings, Sway Universe, Serato, DJ City, and more. He's co-founder and provides music for one of the nation's best comedy shows, The Overachiever Show, with showings at the Comedy Store in L.A. and the DC Improv, improv, and he's also had his production featured internationally via Apple Music and Selection Radio. You can find him on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He is our brother, former Beat Refinery instructor himself. Let's give it up for DJ Bo.
What's good?
What up?
I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Well, thanks for being here with us, man. We missed all the times we've got to chop it up in person and at the schools, and just seeing your just kind of rise through and taking care of business has been great, man. I'm just super thankful to have you and see you on the show.
Likewise, man. You know, I was coming to you for like advice and everything, so you calling me for this is great.
Yeah, man. We'll get into that later when we catch up more about your specific scenarios these days. But next up, we're going to take it a little bit down southwest. This artist has performed with and opened with Diplo, Z-Trip, Craze, Migos, Talib Kweli, 2018 Goldie Award, Beat Battle Champion, 2015 Red Bull 3-Style US finalist. He has been all over the map doing what he does, this amazing live DJ producer performance hybrid. If you've been on the Twitch channels, you've seen some, probably, I think on his channel, I've saw some of the very first things I've ever seen on Twitch from this gentleman, because he's just an innovator, always staying ahead of the game. Let's give it up for our man, DJ Buck Rodgers. Thank you, man. Thanks for rejoining the show, man. We appreciate you being back around.
Privileged to be back. So thank you for the
yes. You have been certainly a hot topic on a lot of DJ boards and just conversations, not only for the skill and the artistry of the DJ, but also your artistry and for the visuals and just making your pages and just the things you're doing really innovative and just at the forefront. So thank you for that inspiration.
Oh, thank you guys for allowing me to do that. And you know, honestly, this pandemic as well is a blessing and a curse, but yeah. So
indeed. Indeed. Yeah, we will talk more about the blessings and curses. And last but not least on this panel, he is pretty much a local legend in the DMV area, and similar to Audio One, a guy that, like, if you don't have at least one edit of his in your digital file library, I don't know where you've been the last 15 years or so, because he's certainly a DJ's DJ, an innovator, really a guy that I know personally as really a marketing guy more than anything, in terms of like where his mind's at. It doesn't really matter if he's doing private events or if he's doing clubs, if he's doing this new pivot to Twitch or streaming. He's always been ahead, and somebody that I've known for a long time, and I've always personally seen how he innovates and tries to do something creative out of the ordinary of what other people are thinking, and really being able to implement that is a talent and a skill in itself. He's a stay-at-home dad these days, and he's making the best of it. I know he's about to be outnumbered by the children in the house, so it's time to start playing zone, as they say. And he is a part owner of nightclub Living Room. Let's give it up for DJ Phlipz.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy to be back.
Yeah, well,
That was part of our first episode, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
That was in my old where I was set up before, when I was still on Facebook and Instagram live streaming.
The good old days, right?
Yeah, that's funny, because that's something. I'm glad that you said that, Phlipz, because that's actually something we wanted to kind of go around the room really quickly with all of our guests, and even Sean, just because of how much you've been live streaming. But Phlipz, let's start with you. Let's kind of walk us through your progression of when you started not necessarily when, but what platform you started live streaming on. What kind of platforms did you?
Even before the pandemic,
even if you were doing this before the pandemic, and then where did you kind of find yourself navigating multiple, and then now where are you at your final? Anyway.
So for me, I never live streamed before until like the pandemic happened. And then I think one of my friends had texted me and was like, you should be doing what DJ D Nice is doing, because that's like after that first weekend when he like just blew up. And I was like, there's no way I can just even get anywhere close to that. But then I was like, you know what, let me just get on and play on Facebook and see what happens, play on Instagram, see what happens. And the first, like, I'd say first week or two were just popping. But then I think, obviously after a couple weeks, like the shininess like starts to dull a little bit. I mean, you can kind of look at it just like kind of like how like throwing parties are, at a club or like starting a new party. Everyone's going to be out, that first like month or two, and then you got to really get back on it to like hustle to keep people coming back. So what happened with me is I wasn't really getting kicked off on Facebook. I think once I started trying to do more than what like I was just basically doing, that's when I started to get kicked off. And, I would talk to Stylus Chris about this a lot, whether it was like trying to get better audio or doing overlays, introducing, instead of just going Facebook Live straight up, I would just, people were talking about using OBS and like all that kind of stuff. So I started using OBS, and then all of a sudden I started getting kicked off like faster and faster and faster on Facebook. But then I think once people started talking about Twitch a lot more, then I started trying to do both. So that's when I got into Restream and trying to do at least Twitch and Facebook at the same time. And, trying to keep up with both of those. And then at some point I just kind of realized, I think I was talking to Audio One and even Flipside, and they were kind of just like, you just got to stick to one platform. And, I liked doing both just because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of people from Facebook coming over to Twitch. A lot of people did, but the people that were on Facebook, I realized it was hurting my image with all the, with getting stopped. When people are watching, they're like excited, and then when you just get cut off out of nowhere, that leaves a bad taste in their mouth, so to say. And you don't
out of the club.
The
security guard just took them and pulled them out.
Yeah, and they're watching your show, they're excited. Then the next time they see you on, they don't, they could either be excited or they just like, I don't know if he's going to get kicked off again, just randomly, blah, blah, blah. And, I think for me at some point, I was just like about a month ago, I was just like, you know what? I did all I could to try to get people to come over to Twitch. I built this like really solid following on Twitch. And you know what? Let's just see what happens. I'll just post that I am on Twitch now when I am playing. And, I think Twitch has definitely been the move, and I've been trying to tell other DJs to jump on, especially from our area, because, to be honest, there's not that much East Coast DJs in comparison to like what's going on, say, Midwest and West Coast. I think I see a lot more on the Midwest and West Coast. And, I try to tell DJs, like, just the hardest part, I'll talk about it on my shows too, the hardest part is just streaming, just getting on. But once you, like, start to get in a groove, Neil Jackson was the one that told me too, like, just at least when you're getting in, just have a set time every day of the week. Or not necessarily every day of the week, but have a set time that you're going to be on, that people are going to know you're going to be on. And that way people will start looking forward to you doing those sets. And then once you obviously start to build, then you can like kind of break away from doing that stuff. But Twitch has definitely been the best move I've made, I think, just going only Twitch, sorry. Then, I cut off Restream. I even paid for Restream. But you know what? You got to pay to play. I've always been, Chris knows, I tell him all the time, if you don't invest in yourself, why should people invest in you? So there's a lot of losses, there's, like I don't use Restream. That was $150, for the year. I might use it for something, but, I'm probably not going to use it anytime soon, because all I need to do is just go right into Twitch, and, you already get all the followers that, you have now ready to watch and, hang out.
At least you get the tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a tax write-off. You know, that's exactly what it is. Like, that's what I tell people. Well, I get it. At least I get to write it off.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, not only that, OBS now has restreaming services too built into it.
Cool.
The Streamlabs OBS, not the OG OBS.
Yeah, and we'll get more into the nooks and crannies as we go on. But Buck, since you're now into the conversation, give us kind of your streaming history.
So at first, I mean, it was Facebook just because, you know, that was the easiest one to do. But then like the kicked off problem, you know, that's one thing. Granted, I dig a little deeper and I look for like no name people that aren't in the algorithm that, you know, that would get flagged in a sense. But you can only dig so much for that stuff. So you have to find a way to reinvent the wheel. And once I saw kind of like what Twitch was about, it took me a little while to understand. And I'm still learning stuff every day. Like there's Discord and all types of other shit you can do like in between to like really engage and interact with your community. But at first it was just a grind for me so I can become partner. And like I didn't really have a schedule. I'd literally do 9-hour marathon streams pretty much every day and just go through the emotions of the music and just go back to that day where we had to grind it out back in the day. Now it's digital grind and it's a little different, but now that it's monetized and like everything's where it needs to be, like it's a blessing. Like I've probably made about $3,000 this last month just off Twitch.
Ooh.
But like I said, it's a grind. It's not just popping in for 2 hours. Like I'm working 9 to 5 pretty much on Twitch pretty much. So it's, you know, it's a little different, but at least I'm still getting to do what I want to do and enjoy doing what I do. And the visuals definitely help. But I mean, honestly, I feel that scares a lot of people because it's just too much for them.
Dude, you get to do all that, and the bonus for me is you still get to poop in your own bathroom.
Wow.
And you don't have management in your ear. You don't have that drunk bougie bitch. Oh my God, will you play my song?
Yep.
You know, so. And then now with moderators and stuff too. I mean, every now and again, I'll get some hecklers come in and stuff because like I have desensitized words and stuff like that you can't type. And so they'll be like N1 GGER. I'm like, oh, here comes a problem. And then so it's just it's curious to see the trolls and how they come out of the woodworks. But nonetheless, that's why you have moderators though. That's the good thing about Twitch too, because with the moderators and stuff, you don't have to worry about like going into the preferences and trying to figure out how to get rid of them and all that and be like, yo, get them. Just kick the ass out.
Handle that.
It is awesome, moderators.
But you got to find the ones that you trust too, though. Like that's the challenge. I mean, a lot of I only have 1-2 moderators that I personally know, and then I have about 3 or 4 others that have just been loyal since day one and just down for the grind. Anytime I'm on, they're on, and they're supporting me and keeping it moving.
Oh, so you have to have a team.
Relationship between
it really does take a team. It really does. This Twitch and the Twitch community is a whole different platform of people. They're not your everyday Facebook users. Like the Twitch community are nerds. And they're there to see stuff that they don't see. And like with being a nerd, that means they also got that IT money and they're not afraid to throw them bits or show me your biddies, as I would say, and things like that. So it's, you know, it's just
I think that speaks to something really, really profound about what you were saying about the grind that really just goes into building up what you and Phlipz just both spoke about, that being on Twitch, knowing that there's other people at a certain tech like threshold, they're able to at least, if not know the songs, but like ride with you. And then they see a setup that's really interesting. Like, all right, I'm going to stick around for this. Where on Facebook, it's just kind of whoever happens to stumble across it. It was important for all of us to figure out where we were going. But the fact that you guys both really went in on Twitch and had people that were riding for the tech side and the nerdiness with you, that actually I think that speaks a lot to the community building side of it.
For sure. And like musically, what's nice is like, not having that club manager or owner in your ear. Like I've been literally, my streams, I go everywhere. I need to dedicate a day, I feel, to like the different genre, but then again, how my brain works, I'm so like, or like I'll read the chat and I'll just see little keywords. I'm like, ooh, let's go this way. Like I'll be doing like
play drum and bass.
System of a Down. I'll go from like System of a Down, Disturbed to drum and bass, from drum and bass to like fucking ballet funk, all the way up to house, from house back down to like soul selections, like just going everywhere, and I love it. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, you don't have to like worry about clearing the dance floor anymore.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, just bounce into the stream. Hopping is the best when you don't have to leave your couch.
I gotta say, Buck, man, your stream is like one of the most eclectic as far as like music selections. It's like it's dope as far as like, you know, the technical aspect of it is, I already know that you're dope at that, but like, woo, the selections that you've been doing on your stream, man, has been like, whoa, I can't do that shit.
There's so much music out there, man, and like just to watch DJs play the same shit that we play in the club that we've been playing, and we're just drained out playing. Like find a edit of that song that freshens it up. Like it's so, and like that, and then also you get to avoid the analytics of the whole copyright stuff. So
yeah, I think what I've noticed, especially about Buck and also Audio One, is what a lot of the general DJ population might call open format does not even really properly describe true music lovers. Guys, like drum and bass is not in an open format conversation of what clubs would call open format, or really Afro, like true Afro beat, or really deep house, or the music that guys like us that come from I think a certain age group, especially, that just grew up on just music, just Audio One. We talk about how you were 3 decades into music as a DJ, so that kind of comes into an area where if you were DJing, you just loved music so much of all kinds of different genres, and I think back to what Buck's saying about the grind, you are another one that I was glad that you said that I'm done at the, what was it, the 100 mark, when you were doing every day.
I ended up making 60 mixes. Yeah.
I mean, that was just.
I forgot about that.
That was just brutal when you talk about a grind of making a different mix every day for 2 months straight.
Guy I know, man. As far as
In hindsight, I'm like, I was nuts, man. Those first 60 days, like, I don't know what the hell was.
We were living off pure adrenaline.
I don't know what it was. I mean, it's funny because today is a day 148. Because Northern California, we're still technically on lockdown. Like nothing's open. Like it's crazy, Like so, yeah. My life is here. I mean, I do go outside if I, if I gotta go take a walk or go get groceries. But like they still want everybody inside. It's nuts. So
wow. And tell us about your stream's kind of livelihood. I mean, we were talking about that you started. What was the platform you were using first?
Well, I used to stream years ago. I actually started back in 2002. I was on Live 365. Ooh. So that's like OG, like, internet radio, 56.
Oh, you brought that back.
Yeah. And then from that, I did drum and bass streaming on Shoutcast servers. So I did that for like a good 10 years. When I linked up with Henry back in 2008 for Bezo, we did the Bezo battles on Ustream.
I remember those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we did that for a minute. 2015, I jumped on Twitch. My friend tried to get me to live stream on Twitch, and it was a very miserable fail. But luckily, I had the account.
Ustream? Huh? Did you ever do Ustream before?
I did Ustream for about a year, mainly because of the Bezo battles we were throwing. But like, I didn't do it like every day or anything. But and then once the pandemic hit, actually for 2 years, my friends Hack and Panda, they're both gamers and DJs. They've been trying for the last 2 years to get me on Twitch. And I was so busy with gigs and life in general, I just never thought about it. And then just when the pandemic hit, I'm like, all right, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? So it was perfect. So for me, I spent the first 2 weeks of the pandemic just studying the landscape, because I noticed everybody had jumped on Instagram really quick, and I just didn't like the way Instagram looked. So my studying, I basically came up with, let's stream to Facebook and Twitch at the same time. So I did that for about 3 weeks, and then I became affiliate on Twitch. And at that moment, when I became affiliate, I dropped Facebook. And then it was crazy because, like Phlipz had said, it's basically building from the ground up. It was literally 4 or 5 viewers, and it was just building on it day by day by day. And I spent, a good 3-4 months streaming about 4 or 5 days a week nonstop. So yeah, it's a grind, man. So yeah, definitely Facebook and Twitch, and then it's been Twitch full time ever since I became an affiliate with them.
That's dope. And yeah, we're gonna come back around and get deeper into your kind of story, because I think you and Phlipz are great. When a great, just true inspirational story for me of how you guys just like you said, you started your platform from zero, and just both kind of had the same mentality. Definitely kindred spirits, the two of you guys. Like, you both do a lot of the same kind of stuff, editing music. You're, really innovative guys, and I like the way your guys' approach is to what you're doing, and how you're keeping it positive and what's going on, and not really complaining about what you don't have anymore, but focusing on the positives of what you do have. And that's something we can all learn from and gain from in that sense. And then ADMC, you're a guy that I remember one of the first times I saw you do a showcase, and I was just like, whoa, this guy is nuts. The skill level, the technical level is insane. And the few streams that I've caught of you, I saw you on Scratch Bastards Barbecue, and you were one of my favorite sets, I have to say. Just because I really truly love the way that you combine the musical flow and the format with the technical side, and it's really, I think, a really nice way to mix into this live streaming world where you're trying to do enough interesting stuff for the person that maybe just a casual viewer that wants to see a little bit more than just hear some music. You're doing enough visual stuff. There's a lot to engage in there. So tell us a little bit about your...
Oh, real quick, Chris, before you ask anything, ADMC, what made you cut the hair?
There it is.
I knew this might. I almost put this in my bio. But so man, thank you so much again for having me on here, and I appreciate what you said. And I always like to hear an outside view of kind of what I'm doing, so I can kind of adjust and even focus on those kind of things a little bit more. But so. I've been growing my hair now for maybe like 5 years, or maybe even 6, to be honest. Before I even got into DJ battles and everything like that, I was growing my hair out, and I've gone everywhere from shaved head to hair down to here, and I just kind of let it go for the longest time, and then after a while, it just started to kind of be a part of my image when I started to come into battle DJing and doing videos on Instagram and getting more recognition that way. So it always just kind of was like my vibe. And it was tough. I mean, it was definitely overdue. I wanted to cut it, actually. I told myself, it was funny. I told myself if I went to the Goldies and did not win, I was going to cut my hair. So then I won, and I was like, I gotta keep it now. But that only lasted for maybe like 6 more months, and then I was like, you know what? It got hot outside. The pandemic happened. I was like, it's just time. It was time to cut it off. I also didn't want to be known as the DJ with long hair. So I was like, I'm not going to keep this forever, so I might as well, cut it all off and
any pressure from wifey?
Start fresh in this pandemic.
Was there any pressure from wifey to cut it too?
Yeah, well, so it took me a while to convince her to let me do it because Allie, wifey loved the long hair and she loved the beard and she loved me looking like a bum, basically. So I was just like, okay, and so I started to really keep asking her about it, and she said, I'm down if you're down for it, as long as you don't hate it when you get done with it. She's the most supportive wife in the world, so she was gonna love it no matter what. But that just gave me when shout out Allie. But when she said go for it, I was like, I'm ready to cut it off. So I went to the barber shop, they cut it off, and then they swept it in the little suction thing, and that was it.
You should have live streamed it like Flipside did.
I actually was thinking about like live streaming it, but
you might have broke the internet with that one. I'm not going to front.
I need to get better. To be honest, too, not even like streaming, but I need to get better at just creating content and putting it on social media. Because I'm kind of a private introvert. So, putting things out there, it's kind of tough for me. So I need to get better at that. So I definitely should have live streamed it. I probably would have got a lot of eyes on it, but it is what it is.
Well, along with the evolution of streaming and kind of coming back to that, you say that you're not as good as putting out as much content as you would say in comparison to other people. But I have to say, one of the things that you stand out as, in my eyes, and I've heard other DJs say the same thing, is kind of redefining and representing the way that everybody understands quick mixing. Buck is making me go crazy. It's so funny.
You guys want to see a preview of Buck? That's basically it.
That's what I look like without any hair.
There we go. But yeah, man, ADMC. So did you do any streaming prior to doing the Twitch thing all in, or was it just kind of like, I'm going to post up the video routines that you were known for?
Yeah, so it was definitely just putting up the video routines because Instagram was definitely my friend through gaining recognition along with Facebook. Facebook is actually my main, well, not my main, but the majority of people who see what I do is on Facebook. So I was always putting up little quick mix 60-second videos, before the pandemic started and all that. So that was where I started. And it's funny because I had a conversation with a buddy of mine about Twitch probably a year before the lockdown happened. And he told me it'd be a good idea. He told me that there was, it was easy for your viewers to support in those ways. And he just thought that it'd be a great kind of segue into what I was doing in Pittsburgh, what I was doing on Instagram, and then also doing it on Twitch too. And I talked to him about it, and I actually looked into it, and then I realized that it was super hard to get started. And at that time, I was getting ready for Goldies, I was getting ready for Red Bull, I was getting ready. I was just busy.
Life was happening.
Yeah, life was happening. So I wasn't ready to dive into that world. So when the pandemic started and Instagram kind of fell to the wayside, that's definitely when I started looking at Twitch in a more serious way.
Got you. Well, it seems like it's been very fruitful since then. And even though coming from Facebook, like just about everybody else on here, and then making that transition, it's interesting that I haven't heard anybody else really mention Instagram. One of the things that I noticed, and Bo, you and I had this conversation before about, along with what Buck was saying about finding the rare grooves and the rare gems to play. I first noticed you, Bo, doing live streams on Instagram Live. So anybody else that like really committed to Instagram at all for a bit?
I did for a little bit, but
like
the only thing I
2
like
weeks.
Yeah.
I just
Here
like
and there.
Instagram automatically keeps you on a timer.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a good thing and a bad thing
One-
because like
one
there's
hour
times you can get
timer.
into the groove and then it cuts you off. It's like, well, but then there's also times where it just keeps you in check and on a timeline, and you don't have to worry about doing that overtime. But
It was a little better like earlier on, like prior to like the pandemic, because like once a lot of DJs started coming on there, they were a little bit more like aggressive with the copyrights. But prior to that,
and they cut the bit rate because since it was being overloaded,
Right.
the quality of the video wasn't as good.
yeah, the quality was always like not even close to what Twitch is.
So how long before the pandemic did you start doing the Instagram Live thing then, Bo?
I started I want to say like around late January, February, because I had a video that went viral, and a lot of the people that kind of got exposed to it were just like pressing me to do some sets. So I figured I'd just hop on, just play for them, and I'll get like a good amount of people like tuning in. But once like the whole D-Nice thing happened, like every DJ was on there. And for some odd reason, like my numbers started falling as well. So I'm like, well, Instagram's not really, I don't really like how it looks. I don't like how it sounds. So I'm gonna just
and you have to
kind of fall back on it.
everything.
Yeah,
like
you're nerdy to the point like us, like it didn't cut it as well.
yeah, I was like, man, putting all this effort for what? And you can't even make money from it. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna just fall back. But then a couple homies were like pressing me to come to Twitch. Then I listened to Audio One actually, I think it was on the Road podcast. He was, I think it was him, Zach, just kind of dropping game on it, like how beneficial Twitch could be. And I looked into it. Spent a lot of time with the YouTube videos, you know, just like tutorials here and there.
We all do.
You know. Yeah, finally
Think
just
about
dived
before
into
we
it.
had YouTube.
YouTube University, man.
YouTube
Word.
University.
Man,
What's-
yeah, I don't know what I
what's
would do.
funny is-
I learned how to DJ from YouTube. It's crazy. But
Yeah, same.
Same here, man.
yeah,
No shame in that.
Well,
No,
what's
not
funny
at
is
all.
I actually did a party for Twitch like 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and never really even took advantage of it then. But now I've actually been on because their streaming service is Pretzel for music. So the homies that
Mhm.
made Monster hit me up, and he runs all that stuff. But yeah, it's funny how long I've been involved with Twitch, but didn't really start using Twitch until this whole pandemic.
Wow.
That's wild.
I mean, I think for all of us, things just kind of like it played out the way it needed to play out. Also,
No,
as
for
far as
sure.
Twitch goes, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's how I
I'm
ended up
seeing
on Twitch.
articles. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
was- I
Now
was
I'm
wrapping
seeing
up.
articles where Bezos isn't going to pay for the copyrights. I'll send you the link so we can post those with this as well. But
Yeah, I would love to get that. in the
Yeah,
show notes for
that's
this, too.
that's the big $1 million question, $1 billion question, I guess. You know, what's going to happen? It's a gray area, and you know, once people realized that Twitch was owned by Amazon, they started to feel like, oh, well, they've got Amazon Prime, so that must mean they're going to tie it in.
Yeah.
But
and
you know,
it is.
it's still not clear how that all is going to work. So, you know,
And it's possible they might not even completely go that direction. They might just make Twitch do what Twitch does because they were already established when Jeff Bezos decided to come in on that. And it's really has created its own world. So
Right.
I feel like that's actually a good kind of segue into Audio One. You inspired this question for me, and the fact that we've got all of these well-established, long resume DJs on here, and you were talking about how Twitch was an early fail for you. Can everybody go around? Let's start with Audio One and work our way through it. Can we get a piece of Twitch etiquette that other DJs should keep in mind on the platform while they're DJing, or in just
Wow.
in general?
It's funny. I just did a podcast like 2 weeks ago on all Twitch etiquette.
Exactly.
I think
Hate us.
research.
honestly, I think one of the most important ones is basically to always raid out, to always hand off your audience to the next channel or to another channel. Myself and other streamers that are DJs, we've been making it a habit to find streamers that have very low numbers, but we know that are really dope. To hand them the audience, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the ball, run with it, you know what I mean? And a lot of times it works because it's the shine that they needed, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
really cool.
so we find just rating out every time that you're done with your set instead of just cutting it off. I know a lot of DJs still cut off their streams, which I feel is a missed opportunity, especially when you have, you know, hundreds of people actually actively viewing your channel right now. And I feel like another thing, it's don't tell people where you're gonna rate, you know, just they have to trust you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, trust where the rate is going. Like, trust your streamer. We're not gonna lead you astray, you know. So, but yeah, I think that's one of the more important ones for me. I feel.
Keep the raid train going. And I gotta say
Show
thank
love.
you as well, because the reason I hit affiliate is because Audio One rated me when I was like right on the line. So thank you, sir.
Nice.
No worries.
And that's what I noticed, like on ADMC this past weekend. He was on before Buck, and they basically rated Buck's stream. But I think
Yeah, and Buck rated me previously.
And then I
But
got
I think
back on.
Phlipz,
and
man,
rated
Phlipz,
me.
you were telling me you that's how you got your numbers up, because you got rated by a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like any other business, or like you still have to like go out and you know, I guess be in the streams. Like if you're just going on and DJing and then not going on Twitch at all after that, then that's not part that you're not gonna win. Like, to be honest, unless like you're already a big name, like a Jazzy Jeff, like he doesn't have to like really go into the chats and say what's up to people.
Yeah.
But like, you know, but for us, you know, for us noobs on Twitch, like part of the fun of Twitch too is going into the chats and saying what's up to like DJs. You know, I think another big thing is this is like you would never have had access to DJs like how it is right now on Twitch.
Not even close, man.
Especially
Like the fact that you can like I was just saying to like friends, I was like, the only time you could say I'll just use Fade, Five and Eric Deluxe or Vice or or even Buck Rodgers, for instance, you could ask them to like give you a shout out at a club and they'd just look at you like you'd be like, dude, I'm DJing right now. But now you just go and hop in their Twitch chat and you're automatically getting a shout out if you just say what's up to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they're all taught, we're all, on a lower end. I mean, I don't want to put myself on a lower end, but like, I love being able to interact with people. Obviously, in person's great, but now that like, you can. Is that me? What was that?
Sci-fi ears are hurting right now.
I know. I don't know. I don't think that was me, but the fact that like, yeah, the interaction has been awesome. Being able to say what's up to DJs that like maybe you only knew through Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and now like you're able to say what's up to them, listen to their sets live. Oh, sorry, I brought up Five and Eric Deluxe, Buck Rodgers, etc. because you would have to go to a city or just watch them play, right? To just watch them play like anytime. Now you get to see them play like 3-4 times a week sometimes, if not more. And then they get to play whatever they want and not like maybe sometimes some DJs will do like pre-planned sets like when they go from city to city because it's always a new crowd.
Right.
But now we're all putting in that work to try to change it up all the time. And, like I said, to be able to see like those bigger DJs that I would love to see like when I was in Vegas, being able to play what they want is amazing. But yeah, I would say part of the fun is being in the chat rooms and just talking to other DJs and talking to the DJs you're listening to. All those little things make a difference, especially on Twitch. You're building a great following, other DJs and people. So, am I the one echoing, or is someone?
I think it's echoing and Buck. I think it's echoing to yours.
It's coming from me.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that.
But yeah, like I said, it's all part of the hustle of just like in real life DJing. Like unless you've built all your name like through battles, like some of the other guys in here, part of it is going out and just saying what's up. And I love that Audio One. Like even when he's not working, he's moderating on other people's channels. DJ Scene, DJ Heavy. Like that's another way to build your following too, is because this DJ Heavy, DJ Scene trusts Audio One. It's like little things like that make a difference with people that are going to follow you even more, like on Twitch.
Really like a pay it forward perspective. I love that. And for anybody who doesn't know outside of the DMV, Phlipz is the master at just saying hi to everybody whenever he's not working. Or even like you.
Am I?
I've seen you go through like on nights that I know you're not working at, like shared residence that we have. Just
he's going by
showing love. Throwing it up for everybody.
Well, how many shots has he had?
Oh yeah.
He knows he's good for like 2 free drinks from every club that he goes to. So he just like pops them and
everyone, if you're in the industry, you can show up and get at least 1 to 2 drinks if you work especially if you work at a place or know someone who's working there. But then by the time you like leave the 3rd or 4th place, you're like done. You're like
game over.
You're like, oh wait, Phlipz, you're off tonight. Do I owe you a check? And you're like,
That was like the only time I would actually really go out to is like if I knew someone owed me a check.
Right.
Once I was done with an early gig, like a happy hour gig, or like when at the W, I'd be done at like 12 or something. And then I was like, all right, who owes me money, or who do I want to say what's up to? Because I got 2 hours to make it all happen.
Check.
Yeah. Sounds good, Buck.
Well, you know what? This is a good segue to go into as Phlipz was saying, Audio One is doing a lot of stuff even when he's not streaming. He's basically like on everybody's chats or streams, just supporting. But let me ask you guys this: like, what is the most important thing about like keeping the audience engaged? Are the audience coming in there for your personality and your conversations, your chat, or are they really there for the music?
I'll comment on
I
that.
think it's a combination of
Yeah.
all of it.
Combination.
Yeah.
Combination
Buck
for
first.
sure. Well, one thing I wanted to comment on the last topic real quick is just like making your rounds on Twitch. And you might have said this because I heard you like going to collect a check and stuff like that. But making your rounds on Twitch is just no different than the grind we used to do back in the day, where you club hopped locally,
Yep.
show up, pay your dues, take your shot, say what up, put
One
your
face.
face in the place, on to the next, and then go
Networking.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same deal. Now we don't even have to leave our house. That's the best part about it. So like.
Yep.
Just wanted to throw that out there real quick. And as far as the Twitch community and as far as engaging, it's a whole different animal than like Facebook and Instagram, because like people are there for you to engage with them more. And like,
Yeah.
I feel the more interaction you give them, the more like live it makes your stream in a sense, other than someone just sitting back playing tunes, you know, not really engaged, like, because it makes them feel a part of what it is you're doing when you engage with the audience that you have, especially for those that are constantly keeping your chat alive. Like,
Definitely.
you always want to engage with them, give them love, show them shout outs. Like, that's where a lot of my moderators come from, because I'll see them all day, every day, just loyal. Oh shit, Buck's on, gotta go, bye. And they pop in my stream and they've just been loyal.
Well,
So
what's
it's-
probably what's the percentage of, like, you know, all the new followers you accumulate on Twitch? What do you think is the percentage of like really like new fans? You know, and instead of like, you know, like your current fan.
Nah, yeah, dude, I've built a fan base all over the world now to when this pandemic shit's over, they're ready to come to me or like ready to bring me to them. Like, and I never would have had that opportunity. Like, I got Japan, Brazil, UK. Because I'm on such odd hours at that. Like, it's noon in Australia by the time I'm on at 5, 6 in the morning here. So like, but no, like the fan base that I've built just off the Twitch community now is like amazing. Because it's a fan base I never had before, because I've never had the chance, you know, to get booked there or whatever it is in that area, or, you know, my video hasn't quite made it to that region based off analytics. So it's like, it's a blessing.
That's dope, man. I love to hear that, you know, guys that are already well established and they're looking at this as a next springboard just to get to the next level. I mean, it's incredible. I think the thing that I've really realized through all this is how the game was moving in a certain direction, and we've had this cataclysmic kind of pivot into it, or an indentation to it, and who's rising out of that, or who's either falling off and not even being known from, or just kind of stuck in the weeds of it all, or the guys that have like really used it to implement a whole new, you know, living in to some degree, a whole new way to do their art is really amazing. And I think it's going to be interesting in how we look back at this maybe years from now, and what is this, has this, you know, I think with Serato, it allowed for a ton more people to get introduced into becoming a DJ. The entry level became so much lower because you could get the equipment cheaper and you could get the music, and which is, it's good for the overall society that we had that. But then the interesting thing about this Corona COVID situation is that it's actually almost made it more difficult, because there's not the ability for guys to just go out to their local venue and get a gig. So it's really almost made it smaller again. And the guys that are winning are the guys that either have a big name and have established themselves, or have learned how to use this time to create a platform for themselves, which is really interesting. It's a unique way to look. The whole business has changed. I think DJ Scene put a tweet out last week that got a lot of love in the DJ world, of like, he had ranked like the biggest 3 things that have happened to DJing, and, you know, without going too far into it, he was like COVID, Serato, EDM. You know, I know Sean and I both were like, well, it's not really Serato, it's more like the MP3, the digital file. But like, this is definitely one of the biggest changes to the industry that we've ever seen,
Most
and
definitely.
we'll ever see. You know.
Yeah.
While it is, I want to kind of expand on that real quick, and then I want to jump back in and hear ADMC and Bo's thoughts on the previous question. But I think that the way you can really look at what's happened with COVID, it's like if you were in a boxing match, you got punched in the face, our entire industry has been rocked by it. Everybody's kind of staggering for a quick second. But then if you get knocked out in that fight, what do you do next? Do you stay on the ground and say, I'm not really worried about this is kind of grind. It was a lot of work anyway. Or do you just get back in the gym? And that's what me is what live streaming feels like. And now essentially we're all living in the gym. And every day, I mean, I do a stream on Tuesdays. I do one on Thursdays. I do one on Fridays. And what I told myself at the beginning is, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to lose any of the work that I've gotten this far to build up. And I want to make sure that I can absolutely stay sharp, because for every person like me who's got a bunch of gigs, there's somebody who doesn't have any, and all they do is stay in their room, just practicing them chirps all day. So if I'm not keeping it up, then who knows? I might lose my spot to that guy who's really working out in the gym every single time. So I guess to that previous question, though, as far as the personality versus the musicality, ADMC, well, let's jump in with that question for you. Do you feel like your personality and your long, once flowing hair was the reason people stuck around in the chat? Or do you feel like it was the way that you're presenting the songs? Because you've got a really specific quick mix style that I think you're really well known for that.
So I was gonna comment. Yeah, the two parts to answer your question. I originally had thought that, people were coming for the music, but then also, people were coming for, the personality, talking, and the image or the look or whatever. But to be honest, what I've realized is it's more, for my community, it's more about the music, I think. Every community is a little different. But for me, I've noticed that once I cut my hair and I changed up my look a little bit, and I was never really big in, talking on the microphone and chatting with, the people who are watching me. I've gotten better at it now, and I do that now, and I think it does help. But for me, I think they just want to turn on my channel and maybe not necessarily, stay there and watch the whole time, but just have some music on in the background. I feel like it's like a 70-30 kind of thing, because 30% of my chat is definitely there to talk. They're there to talk to my wife as well, and she interacts with them. And so we've built, not that we've built a huge community at my channel, but it's a really strong community. So, I definitely have at least 30 to 40 people in there who are engaging and chatting with us. And, some of them we know, some of them we don't. And then the more people we get in there, the more we try to make them laugh and connect with us as well. But to the other point about just Twitch in general, and once all these DJs started to migrate over to it, I remember getting on Instagram whenever that wave was happening about everybody live streaming, and when I would get on, I would see 20 red bubbles pop up saying a
live icon.
Live. It's crazy to me that those DJs or the majority of DJs right now have not made that switch to Twitch, because it's almost like a no-brainer, to be honest. It's work, but it surprised me that the DJs who were doing the live streams on Instagram were not coming over. And to your point, it's crazy because there are only a handful of DJs in the world right now that are streaming. And I think that what you had spoke on before this is, when this is over, that handful of DJs are going to be at the top of the list for club promoters, party promoters, and things of that nature when things open back up. So I think it's essential not only to keep your chops up, not only to keep, DJing almost every day, but it's definitely a tool that is going to help you in the future when this does clear up. And whether these DJs keep streaming or not, they're definitely building their presence, whether they know it or not, just by doing this and keeping it consistent as well.
I think it's your breadsticks.
It might be the breadstick.
You definitely gotta have a breadstick branded party.
I might embarrass my wife, but before we met, her favorite restaurant was Olive Garden.
Oh,
so I had to show her a little bit better food.
Well, the breadsticks that you had cheese sauce, and that was not Olive Garden.
Actually, it was, man.
They don't have cheese sauce at Olive Garden.
Yo, that's dip. That's the garlic butter dip.
See, you got me confused. I thought it was cheese sauce, and you got me all excited.
Not cheese sauce, no. Hey, I still like the breadstick.
It must be a Midwest thing.
Red Lobster.
Yeah. Red Lobster. We talk about that too.
Now we talking biscuits, son. Cheddar baked biscuits.
Cheddar biscuits in that life. What?
So we do the when you're here, your family kind of deal over at my channel at the Olive Garden. Unlimited breadsticks for the chat.
Nice.
I feel like if somebody wasn't already convinced to check this out, they are completely roped in.
For all the people that's listening to the audio podcast, man, you gotta watch the video, man. The live stream right now, because like Buck Rodgers, man, he's been hilarious with his like screen right now.
Master with the filters.
I just want to know how he's doing it, though.
Cheesy poofs. Cheesy poofs.
But, I hate to interrupt the conversation, but we're almost done with this episode.
Yeah.
We do have students tuning into this podcast, so we always like to teach them a few tips and tricks to this DJ game. So we're going to end off the show with DJ As1's DJ Tip of the Week. So, Art, take it away.
Oh, right. Let's do a quick screen share. Host disabled screen share.
Oh, hold on.
Enable screen share for me, host.
There you go. I got you.
Sweet. All right, guys. So, wait, what are we calling this? Can you tell us the name of this tip? I forgot the name of it.
So we're using screenshots to capture live moments with As1.
Screenshots to capture live moments, guys. So this was a cool technique taught to me by Chris Carnes, everybody. So DJ Vibe.
Chris
Carnes. This was like maybe 2014-15. We were hanging out, and he basically told me, hey, man, you should just screenshot this stuff to basically save your ideas. So to make a long story short, guys, if you're in the Mac world, on Mac OS, I believe it is Command-Shift-3, and that is what you call a shortcut, keyboard shortcut to do a screenshot. And what in the PC world, we were trying to figure this out. I know there's a print screen button. You might want to check that out if you're on Windows, how to do a screenshot. But I know that's super easy to do. So at this point, like I said, I have a folder right here called screenshots. This is probably screenshots built over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or so. And some of these things I can utilize for different things. So when I'm DJing, a lot of times I'm mixing live, and I'm just kind of in the vibe, feeling the moment. And usually, as soon as I have that moment of joy or something that tickles me, and I go, "Oh wow, that was cool," I hit Command-Shift-3, and what that does is takes a screenshot of everything happening on my Serato screen. Everything in terms of, I get to see the key of the songs, the BPMs. I get to see what I did, how I pushed these to the center. One was at 95, one was at 100. I get to see all the timestamps. So if you need to look back, this is the exact moment in time where I felt joy about this mix. I can go back and either utilize these for blends later, remixes, or just ideas for mixes if you're trying to build up mixes and stuff. And I'll go through a couple of these just to show you guys. Oh yeah, some other crap. There you go. Just lots of cool stuff there, guys. And like I said, I've even taken a lot of these ideas, and I'll take these 2 songs or something, I'll throw them into, say, Serato Studio or something like that, and start working from there. Start remixing and building tracks, either add new elements or not. But it's a great way to kind of go back to a moment in time where you thought, wow, that was really cool. And, if you're like me, you're going to forget. You're going to forget the next day what the hell that moment was. So, yeah.
Word.
There you go.
That was a good tip.
Money.
Thank
So
you.
wait.
That's one.
Did you know that if you do Command-Shift-4, you can actually resize too? Just one, just
Pick the part of like the screen that you want.
yeah. That's just an add-on to the Command-Shift-3.
Ah, okay.
So if you just want to like take a picture of like this square of 9 people, you can just do that with Command Shift 4.
Oh, so Command Shift 4 takes a screenshot of the current open window, like everything in the window, whatever that program is.
No, 4, you can actually make your own size.
You can
you can
that,
crop
like
it.
that. You can crops up whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, just another add-on to that.
Thanks, As1, for the DJ tip of the week, and thanks Chris for the addendum.
I jumped in.
But that's going to do it for us for now for part 1 of this episode. We are definitely going to talk more about DJs on Twitch, get into more of the nerdy ins and outs, and even ask the most important question: can DJs make a significant amount of income on Twitch?
Uh-oh.
On that note, congrats, by the way, to Audio One for making
DJ
art.
Audio
By the
One.
way.
Yes! Audio One.
So we'll talk to him more about that on the next show. We'll be back here next week with part 2, along with the same group of guys here on this panel next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and continue the conversation with them. If you missed the show, you can watch the replay of any of our past shows on Facebook.com/BeatRefinery or YouTube.com/BeatRefinery. If you prefer to listen to the audio side of things, this episode will be uploaded this Thursday to Apple, Spotify, Mixcloud, wherever you consume and listen to all things podcast. So be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate us. We always appreciate the love and support from you guys. Again, this show is brought to you by Beat Refinery, DJ School at Bach to Rock. Learn how to mix, scratch, and make music by visiting beatrefinery.com. Again, we have locations nationwide across the U.S. of A. So once again, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Everybody say peace.
Peace.
Howdy ho.